There is a queen in New Orleans. Salut, bonjour, comment vas-tu? J'espère que tu vas bien. Bienvenue sur ma chaîne. Welcome to my channel. I am so happy to announce the 2026 Conjure Fete Legacy, New Orleans, Nouveau Orleans. VIP and early bird tickets are available now. I also welcome you to needles, knots, and nail workings. But before we get into this conversation, I must first ask you to please subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, leave a sweet kind comment below, hit your notification and post notification buttons, and please share the video. D'accord? Merci beaucoup. All right, so everyone, in this video today, we are going to unpack working with needles, nails, and knots, and the understanding of these things that most people don't communicate. But before we get into that, I have to, of course, address the 2026 Conjure Fete Legacy New Orleans. So for some of you that may not know, this is our 9th year. Last year was the 8th year, and we celebrated the Imperial Commune de la Live with Mama Anne, Papa Tuki, Queen Mother, Sharon Waputikoy Piper, Clan Mother, all the great wonderful elders and royals and all of those things. And it was incredible. And this year I thought to myself, what could I do to give you more? You know, I'm always going to give you more. And some people don't know, but the only reason I am in Mobile is actually because I had spiritual obligations in New Orleans almost a decade ago, to be honest, almost the same amount of time of the fete. And through that, I acquired relationships with natives, elders. And when I say elders, I don't mean your 20-year-old, your 30-year-old. I mean your 50, 60, 70-year-old elders, those that grew up in New Orleans pre-Katrina in the 50s and 60s, and the list goes on. And so I established incredible relationships. I established a great value of respect. But it's because I have the connections to the very few lasting elders in New Orleans. And so I thought to myself, I think my community would be so thrilled to enjoy a little trip over to New Orleans. So as you all know, I never give out full details when I announce the fete. And that is because those of you that have been here know if I'm not saying something, you're about to get something, a lot of something, and a lot of good things, very fulfilling, full things, right? So I'm not going to give you all the details, but for this year, there will be unlocked moments, right, where I will reveal new things. Now you may say, well, Queen, you know, every year you do the second line. We're still doing the second line in Mobile. Queen, are we going to do the graveyard walk? Why, yes, that is part of the Conjure Fete in Mobile. And maybe even other places. But understand that you're still going to get those hints, those perks that we always do every year. And now we're just adding New Orleans to the mix. I'm so excited because, again, I'm very protective of my resources. I'm very protective of my relationships. And this is the time for me to give you just a little bit more. And essentially is giving you what got me to Mobile. You know, it was not New Orleans voodoo. It was not New Orleans voodoo, that's for sure. It was not the thrill of New Orleans, which is why I speak for years. I have spoken for years about the appropriation, the exploitation by multiple individuals in New Orleans, which is why what it is today and what it has been for the past 10 years, no. But when you start reaching into the elders, those that grew up in Treme, then we have something to talk about. Now we got something to do. So the link is over in the description box. Now, I also have to tell you, those from the Working Ritual Weekend have already been privy to the tickets, which means they had first dibs, which means you may not get a ticket for the VIP and the early bird. There are limited VIP tickets and there are limited early bird tickets. Why? Here are some of these out of the gate perks. So all of the perks will be revealed little by little. So you just got a little bit of a teaser, but so at the end of this month, there'll be another reveal. And the reveals are going to be revealed through landmarks. So you'll have your Bourbon Street reveal. And the VIPs, again, of course, get those things. And then you'll have your, well, I guess I'm going to keep it to myself. So it'll be a surprise. So, yes, but there are limited early bird tickets. There are limited VIP tickets, and the early bird tickets expire on November 23rd. There will be other opportunities to save. I will also just mention that, just so you understand, excuse me, I missed some of the perks. Excuse me, sorry, perks. Yes, of course. The French Quarter Festival. We're going to give you a little taste of the French Quarter Festival. You will also have your travel taken care of and your lunch for our trip to New Orleans. So those are some of the things you're going to get right out of the gate. So I'm giving you that. You have that. All right. When I tell you we are about to have a hoodoo Hogwarts of a time, trust and believe me, you don't want to miss it. It's going to be incredible. So there's that. So you have the French Quarter Festival, travel there and back will be handled, as well as our food. Et voila, voila, voila. So there's that. But the link is over in the description box, and I hope that you can join. At the end of this month, once the early bird tickets have expired, we will announce the deadline to get your tickets as well. All right. So in tonight's, whenever you're watching it video, we're bringing our focus to needles, nails, and knots. And understanding about needles, nails, and knots. So let me just go ahead and unpack those things. So first and foremost, I know a lot of individuals just do things, and they write books, they have classes, they announce stuff, and you're out here doing the things and you're wondering why your life is in a mess. And it's because you're using tools incorrectly. So for example, if you use a screw and try to nail it, you're going to cause damage to the target. You're going to cause damage to the subject. You're going to cause damage to the situation, the condition. You make things worse, not better. And that's what I'm seeing the large majority of. So I want to assist you in really starting to dissect these things that are just really messing up the community. And this is why I tell you all, this is why I've said it many, many times. Trend And this modern hoodoo, modern root work, it's killing the tradition, it's killing the customs, it's not keeping it alive. It's not, oh, Hoodoo Heritage Month. Just say Hoodoo Happening Month, because y'all don't keep heritage. You're not doing what the ancestors did. You're doing what you want to do and stapling it, stamping it, announcing and promoting and capitalizing on your version of your imagination of hoodoo. That's what you're doing, or African American conjuration, or just magic in general, right? So I, as who I am, come from a space where I value the traditions. I value tradition. I value tradition. And so I want to give you that, because that's how you're going to connect. That's the real way to connect. De la silence, s'il te plaît, ma chère. Silence, mon cœur. Et voilà. So, first things first. When we talk about the respect of tradition, needles, nails, and knots. So just going to needles and nails. Needles and nails are not the same thing. They provide two completely different situations. But if we're going to generalize, which I tell you not to do, understand that it's a focus on vow, commitment, and working. You can pretty much generalize it in that way. Vow, commitment, working. Needles, okay? And we're gonna do some work here in just a little bit. Needles, we are going to bring an understand, or bring an understanding to, rather, that needles, in fact, are painful. They cause pain. They cause pain. Now, the issue is, when people saw nails in wooden dolls, they assumed that it was pain. It never was, and it never will be. It never was, and it never will be. But needles is pain. Needles carry pain. Needles hurt. So when you're doing work with needles, that's what you're doing it for. And you can actually specify where that pain is. For example, I could use my needle and de bonne chance, some good luck. Anointing my needle with good luck, applying it to a target, I can cause pain to someone's luck. I can take, je prends de la protection. I can take a needle and cause pain to someone's protection. I can use the needle just simply as pain and cause pain to an individual or a situation. In general, that's what that's going to do. But when we begin to open the door to nails, nails are vows. Nails are commitments. So when people would see the Nkisi or the Kondi or the Nikisi, the Congolese wooden dolls with the nails in it, it wasn't about causing pain. That doll figure, that human figure, that object that had the nails all in it, because sometimes you just saw a piece of wood with nails stuck all in it, they bent up, they crushed up, they turned, and all those things. These was commitments to that spirit, the entity of Mama Sue could have been in an oak log. And so people would go to that oak log and they would drive nails into it and say, Mama Sue, if you do this for me, I will tap. Do this for me and I will tap. Do this for me and I will tap. And every nail was a commitment. I will do this. I will do that. I will do this. I will do that. Sometimes it was the same commitment, but on Sunday, I will on Sunday, I will on Sunday. or on 9 Sundays, or on 6 Sundays, or on 3 Sundays, whatever it was. And so that's what the nails were. Nails were for the commitment. Now, due to vows and due to nails of it all, clean, clear nails provide that. But a bent nail causes distraction and chaos. It's distraction and chaos. It is, what is this? It is, pardon-moi, je suis désolée, l'humour, it is inconvenience. It is distraction, okay? So for example, years ago, I had a company, a boutique, because I owned a boutique, that was upset that I was selling what they were selling, but for half the cost, because I know where you get your thing. I didn't do it because of this, but I'm like, we're getting the same things essentially from all the same warehouses, but you are charging $100 for a shirt that cost us $5. $5. So now I'm gonna sell this shirt for $20. And you're selling it for $100. So anyway, this person went to the city who they had relationships with the mayor and all of these things, and to try to get my gym and my boutique closed down. So ma grand-mère, elle dit, she says, my grandmother would tell me at the time, she said, take 3 nails, rusted nails, bent nails, go to the direction of the shop, to the company, I almost said that name. She says, and you throw it at the company, you throw it at the business, turn away and don't look back. So I took the 3 nails, I took it, I threw it. That was in May. July 4th, it rained something horrible in Alex City, and their roof fell in, cost them $50,000 to get the roof replaced. After that, I sent them a letter that was fixed, communicating things. She took the letter, she opened it, she read it, she did an online reply to it, being like a, how they say it, like vague booking, where you just are very vague, but it was clearly directed to me. And after she paid $50,000 to get the roof fixed, she closed her building because I don't know exactly the exact reasons why, but she closed her business on January 1st. She was going to move to another building that I had just got out of, that I had moved my boutique to, since that was part of the issue. And I fixed that building with more nails. She went in, and within a week, she decided that she could not open again, and the business have never been open again since. So bent nails causes that kind of destruction. But rusted nails cause sickness and bad health. And so using those in that way. So as you see, needles and nails are very different, okay? They're very different in that way. The other part that we are going to be discussing is knots. Knots and knot workings themselves actually serves as both work and commitment. So for every knot, that could be on a Sunday, I am on a Sunday, I am, or I will, or if you will, or whatever in those things. But also, the knots themselves can be pain, hurt, illness, or whatever it is. The knots themselves can be working. The knots themselves can also be the target. And I will talk about that here in a little bit. All right. So those are just some basics when it comes to needles, knots, and nails. And we're going to get into the workings. But before I get into the workings, I do want to say we just had the working ritual weekend this week. This was the last day of the working ritual weekend. Everybody, when I tell you that this working ritual weekend was something, it was a time. You all gotta stop missing out. I promise you, if you want your lives changed, because the thing about it is I can teach you hoodoo all day. I can teach you magic all day. I can teach you the customs and those things all day. But the reality is this, if you don't have those gifts and abilities, you just can't do those things. But when you begin to come to like working ritual weekend and understand self, it changes your life. When you do the Fete, it changes your life. When you do the Institute, it changes your life. When you do the Master Society, it changes your life. These are life-changing spaces that I have created, without a doubt. And I'm telling you all this now. There are some big changes that are coming. Some huge changes that are coming that well, you may not have access to a lot of these things in the future. So if you don't start investing now, you may not be able to. I said after my first year of the Institute that I was so proud of that group, I could have ended the Institute year 2 easily. After year 1, really, because I was that confident that those individuals would go throughout their lives and sow the seeds appropriately. And they have. So just understand that all of these things will not always be available. So if you don't jump on them when they are available, you're going to miss out. And I'm telling you, there are going to be some things that are coming that are becoming unavailable even as we speak. Even if you look over the last couple of months and just how I operate with my readings, you're seeing changes. There's a reason for that. Don't miss out, is all that I'm saying. Don't miss out. There is a queen in New Orleans. So everyone, yes, the 2026 Conjure Fete Legacy New Orleans edition is available now. VIP and early bird tickets are available now. The link is over in the description box. The early bird tickets expire November 23rd. Keep in mind, we will be releasing new hints, new information, unlocked information, hidden information as we go along, little by little. And again, I tell you, for those that have been here for almost, 6 and 7 years, you already know what it is. You already know what it is. But I do need to just let you know that getting there to New Orleans and back is taken care of. Eating while you're there is taken care of. And we also are going to have an opportunity to experience the French Quarter Festival that weekend. I think it's the weekend kind of deal. So anyways, there's that. So there'll be other things that we will be discussing. I'm super excited as we take our trip over to New Orleans. And yes, we're still doing the Mobile second line. We're still doing the graveyard walking or working, because last year we worked, we just did not walk. And the list goes on. I have to check on that though, because they're doing a lot of work out there as the Clotilda is becoming even more well known. They're really now trying to clean up that area and the cemetery and those things. And so it's almost becoming a very, I guess, a gentrified graveyard, to be honest. So we'll see. And we have some other cemeteries we can also visit, but either way it goes, that's available. So I just wanted to mention that. But yes, don't miss out. Let us get into the workings. Now we will explore and find respect for needles, nails, and knots in the traditional perspectives of working with needles, nails, and knots. Be sure to pay close attention and give yourself time and grace. Enjoy. So here we're going to have a couple of the items that we're going to be able to use. And the first thing that we are going to do is do the needle work. And all you'll need is a candle. It doesn't matter the color. As you know, in Voodoo, color does not have or hold weight. Your needles. Here's what I have here. And oil. So as I mentioned to you earlier, for example, say that it was a pay me working, right? So what you do is you are going to take your candle and you're going to anoint it in the person's image. So say for example, this is a sister and your sister name is Alice. So you need to make sure that you dress this with something of Alice, whatever that is, whether it's hair, spit, cigarette butt that you wipe all over it, but this is Alice. Once this is Alice, once you have done that, you can stick your candle in salt and call out to Alice and wait until Alice calls you or reaches out to you, and that's when you know that this has worked, that it has now become Alice. So this is Alice. Once you've done that and she owes you money, okay, you will take your oil, pay me oil, all right? Say you don't have pay me oil, you anoint the needle. And say, for example, you just say commanding oil or compelling oil, whatever the oil is, and you say, pay me or feel pain. And you really don't even have to say that because she's going to feel pain regardless. You have enough oils on your hand. You don't have to go back and use more. Same thing. Pay me. And every time, what you're doing is every time that you're sticking this nail in, you're asking her to pay you. Pay me. You see how that is going on? So you may, for example, oops, I was putting in the wrong end. For example, as y'all saw that the needle didn't go through my hand. I was pushing on the wrong end. Oh well, whatever. So so I'm gonna ask her 4 times. And you ask her these 4 times. And what happens is you ask her those 4 times. This is the 4 times that you've asked her. So you burn your candle. You ask her and she don't pay you. Let it burn down until it hits. She's going to feel pain. So then you ask her again. If she says no, you burn it again. Let it goes down. She's going to feel pain. And you keep doing that. And every time it hits, she'll feel pain. Every time until she pays you. So the way that you do this, the psychological aspect of it is you ask her. She says no or she lies. She feels the pain. She feels the pain. This is justice. This is justice work. And so eventually it's going to dawn on her. Every time she asks me about money, every time he asks me about the money I owe them, I end up, something bad happens. I feel bad or something happens. And that's how you're going to do a pay me working using needles. D'accord? Et voilà. Ensuite, for the next working, you are going to do, you will need your nails and just a candle. It's a simple, simple, simple working. Now, I want to tell y'all something about these. And I need you to listen very well. When we talk about commitment, and I didn't mention this earlier, but when we're talking about commitment, what are you committing to? Who are you committing to? Because you just putting it in a candle is committing to nobody. As I mentioned to you earlier, I did mention this, how the wood could be mamasu, or this dried piece of driftwood could be mamiwata. The list can go on and on, right? Normally when you're doing commitment work, it's because whatever you're putting the nail into is a spirit, a folk spirit. And that's where the folk spirit video will be come in handy. For example, so say this was Haijun. Say this was actually Haijun in the candle. You say, Haijun, provide me that house and I will give you bread. Provide me that house and I will give you bread. Provide me that car and I will give you bread. And normally you can warm these up and they'll stick better. You would normally warm up your situation. Give me that love and or that husband or that wife, whatever, and I'll give you bread. So what happens is each one of these are your commitments. And when he blesses you or whomever that is blesses you and it hits, you give them that thing that you've said. And that is your commitment. Is their commitment to you that they'll do it? Is your commitment to them that you'll do your part? And that's a way that you can do, that's the way that you would do that. That's how that would work, okay? And you also see the differences too. It's not always like that, but that is the thing. So, we're not doing, I mean, I give you guys the rusted nail working already. You throw it to your enemy. Now, this one is a working that I do love dearly. So what you're going to do, and this is for your knot working, and this is what I was trying to tell you all earlier, is understanding how the knots work and that they can work differently. So what you're going to do is you're going to take something and you're going to pierce your lemon all the way through. The person, this is for going back, they owe you something, right? They owe you something. You are going to take this, place it on that hole, and you're going to send this through, okay? You have to send this all the way through. Depending on your, there we go, on your thread, it may be easier, maybe not as easy, but then it goes all the way through, right? So what you do from that point is you're going to tell that person, and you take their hair and you say, pay me or your life becomes sour. Pay me or your life becomes sour. But you put their hair in the knot. Pay me or your life becomes sour. I'm going to show you why it's important to do this in this way. This is a pretty advanced working, but I'm going to show you why here in just a moment. You want to make sure that these knots are beginning to knot up on themselves. And I'm going to tell you why. Because this is a working that will take a little time. But it's a working, it's a just as working. So you've done that. And you see how it holds. I'll show you. You see how it holds the lemon? You then move down a little bit farther. Pay me or your life sours. Pay me or your life sours. That's a good one. Pay me or your life sours. Pay me or your life sours. Right? So then what you're going to do is you're going to take the top part of your rope burning it. Take this part, tie it to a tree. Hang it in a tree, any tree. It doesn't matter, because this is your working. Hang it in your yard, hang it in at the crossroads, hang it at the park, it doesn't matter. Hang it in a tree like that. And so what happens is, as this rots, and it begins to rot little by little, and it really depends on those holes, excuse me. That hole's a little bit not as big as it needs to be. So I'm just going to go back through the other way, because you do want to make sure it has the ability to move. You do want to make sure that it has the ability to move. So I'm just making sure that it has the freedom to move, because what happens is, as it begins to rot, it'll slide and it will sour. Slide, sour, slide, sour. And so it goes over those knots in that way. But as time goes along, it'll go bloop and it'll drop, and then it'll go to the next night. And that person, because it's the person every night. So every night that person gets that sourness. And so it just keeps going and goes, and then it falls. Thank you all so very much for taking the energy, time, and effort, as always, to learn more, to invest in your spiritual affairs. I hope that you can walk away with this with more education, more respect for the things that you're doing traditionally, in addition to being able to do some of these workings on your own. It's been a pleasure. And of course, again, do not miss out on the 2026 Conjure Fete New Orleans edition. The early bird tickets and VIP tickets are in the description boxes. And understand this, VIP is different from early bird. There are perks that VIP get that early birds do not get. There are limited ones. And I'm going to tell you this, only VIP and early bird individuals will get to go to New Orleans. Let me say that. I guess I should have said that earlier. But yes, only VIP and early bird tickets get to go to New Orleans. So, make it work. Thank you all so very much. I'll see you all very soon. Merci.